Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the YahYah. And we gotta talk about this transfer rumor going around with Andrey Santos to Manchester United. Sorry. Now, in my opinion, right, I don't really understand what's going on with this transfer. I'm gonna be honest. Yes, I do think he's a good footballer. Yes, I do think he can do a job for us. But do I think he changes a metric for our team? No, I don't. I actually don't. And this is why I'm quite concerned about this transfer. Not because I don't think he would not add value. I do think, as I said, he's a good footballer. But does he tick the metric? Does he change the level? Does he change the way in which we play? Does he make us a better football team? Or is he just there to be a part of the rotation? Because we have to bring in midfielders to be a part of the rotation. So is he taking up the Manuel Ugarte role? Are we getting rid of Ugarte in terms of, okay, you're injured, but we're just going to get rid of you right now. So when you get back fit or whatever, we can just like work you out of the team. Like what they did with the Tyrell last year. Or is he a part of the rotation that's going to start? That is, now, if that's the issue though, we're going to have a big issue because I don't think he takes a lot of metrics that we need. I haven't seen much of Andre to really be excited about this. And maybe this is the kind of signing we need, so we don't need to be as excited about it. But then we also need to be kind of building a team that is going to be competitive. And does he make us a lot more competitive? Not really, not as much as I think people think. But any which way, rumours coming out in the BBC that Manchester United is looking after Andrey Santos. With Casemiro leaving, with Manuel Ugarte being expected to be sold and being injured, you only have Kobe Mainoo and Mason Mount as recognised midfielders. And for me, that is a worry, especially with the way we've lost out in Fernandes. We've lost out with Tonali. You know, we're losing out with Elliot Anderson. So does that leave us with Andrey Santos, a Carlos Baleba, Mnicha, Tuomeni? Like, who are we really going after? And why is it taking us so long to confirm some of these midfielders? It's a bit worrying to me because when I look at the market and I look at what's going on with the market and the way in which players are this expensive at the beginning of the market, it actually worries me because usually you get into your buys right now quickly. You're able to buy them. You're able to buy the player so you don't have to spend so much later down in the market because that's how it works. You know, it's a demand and the economies of scale. The more the demand goes up, is the more expensive the product will be, which i.e. what's happening in the World Cup right now. A lot of people go to America in the summer, which drove the prices and the tickets up. And a lot of people go into the World Cup. I think they hit over 80 million people or 60 or 70 million people watching the game the other night. Like, it's crazy the kind of numbers these guys are actually hitting, not only commercially, not only via media, but also in the stadiums. They're packing out the stadiums, full stadiums, a lot of these games. And everyone wants to watch England play, which is why their tickets are even so much more expensive. The demand for these games and these tickets, and a lot of people now want to go to these events. A lot of people now want to be a part of these events. Remember, we're in a world now of creative content. We're in a world now of social media. A lot of people need the imagery at these places to seem like they're living a certain life as well. So a lot of people would pay a lot of money to go to these games, which also drives the demand up. Think about how many companies are sending their people to these games. Drives the demand up of the tickets. You have a lot of tickets that were being sold quite cheap, but a lot of these reseller platforms bought them off, resold them at a competitive price of what's happening at the World Cup. So we have to really, not only, I think FIFA needs to stamp down on these resale platforms, especially when it comes to a major event. If we're not buying the ticket straight off of the FIFA website, or we're not buying it straight off of a sponsor's website, we shouldn't be buying these tickets from resellers because people shouldn't be benefiting so much after FIFA's already benefit from us being a part of this initiative, and we don't have any way to show that we're getting the love back from FIFA. You know, we should have, even if it's millions of people getting access to only 50 tickets, we should have 50 million people getting access to those 50 tickets at a cheap rate. Not having all these people having to go back on reseller platforms to get the same prices of tickets that are costing the same just if we're buying it off the website. It's ridiculous. It's what is the sense of having cheap tickets but all of them being bought by a reseller? And some of these resellers are people who actually may probably work with FIFA, who have different companies that do different things within FIFA, within the World Cup, yet they still want to benefit from tickets. And yeah, I'm not hitting on any business, man. If you see a loophole, bro, if you see a gray area, you work it and work it hard. But yeah, like there's just a lot of things that's going on within the World Cup that we can talk about. But yeah, talking about Andrey Santos, United do better. We have to go after top quality, especially after watching this World Cup, because we can see football changing to intensity, to counter-attacking football. Now the midfielders are actually the engines of the game. You know, I see us being linked to Sanderberg from Fulham, who played a very top game for Norway the other night. I was actually quite impressed. He played in there on his own, basically, and he handled it well. And I like the fact that he always picks up the spot as a main pivot. You know, and I think Sanderberg is like 26, 27, and technically he's not bad on the ball. And you know, if he's been in the Premier League for a while and he's actually been growing within the league, this is a type of a buy that I can see us adding him to the rotation. No, I don't think we should gloat our midfield with just average midfielders, because now we'll end up in a position like when we had a Fred and the Herrera and so forth. You know, when we had that midfield, when we weren't too happy with the kind of midfielders we had, but we had to find a way to compensate sorry, and work them and make them work for the team. Now we have the ability now to clean and bring in top quality players. Now are they trying to get this Brazilian thing going where we adding in Andrey Santos with an Edison to kind of create this Brazilian pivot? What are we really doing? You know, I just want the club to kind of start to make... I understand that we're actually being smart in the market, but we also can't be too scared to go after certain quality of players, especially when we're going to be playing inside of the Champions League. You know, we have to be going after top quality players. But yes, people, it's been your boy YahYah. It's Andrey Santos being rumoured to Manchester United. So if y'all, let me know in the comments if you're happy about this transfer. What you think about this transfer? If you were Omar Barada or Jason Wilcox, would you be sanctioning this transfer? Let me know. Have a good time. Take care. Keep looking out for the notifications. Hit on the bell so I can keep bringing you great content and you can keep seeing popping up on your phone. Take care. Ciao.